I first felt something was different I think it was fifth grade, when there was this girl in my class who I really wanted to be like. I wasn't attracted to her, but I just wanted to be like her. And I could remember distinctly like praying to God to like wake up as her for a day or something. And that still lingered throughout middle school and high school, and became more intense throughout middle school and high school. And during those years, I try to mask it with cheerleading, where at every competition I would go and find a girl that I wanted to be like. But there was always this like draw towards like femininity and like womanhood. Like when I was shopping, I'd always look more at like women's clothes than men's clothes, and like there was always this thing in the back of my mind that I was always trying to fight. I first knew I wanted to transition my freshman year of college. It was right around Halloween, and me and my friends, they were gonna dress me up as like Cinderella for like Halloween. So they did like full on makeup, like rhinestone eyelashes, everything. And that night I was like going around saying I was Princess Lexi. So I brought that to my counselor and told him like, hey, like this is happening. I'm kind of feeling feminine. I've been feeling this way for a while. What does this mean? And he introduced me to the concept of transgender and like what that means. And I always thought it was like this like 40-year-old guy in a dress. I had a really bad like mental image of like what a trans person was. But when I actually Googled it, I found out they could be really beautiful. Like some of them were super attractive, and I was like, damn, like I want to be that. I was really worried about what was going to happen, on if I would lose that family support, if I would lose funding, if I'd lose all these things. The statistics aren't good for like trans people. Like I'm only expected to live until I'm like 30 because of murder rates, and because of like how bad coming out can go. And for me, I'm really privileged to be where I'm at and to have like the friends I do supporting me. But it's not a universal thing. And many of the residents I take care of right now on the LGBTQI scholars floor have parents who they can't tell, or parents they told who disowned them, who cut their funding, and they had to drop out of school, and they're homeless now. One of my first days like wearing like the other gender's clothing out, I was walking by K14 to go meet with a friend for a project. This guy from the back, I guess, thought, I was a straight cis girl, and like starts catcalling me, comes up to me from behind, and he looks at me and is like, oh, you're a dude. And long story short, that night I was viciously beaten out front of K14, and it was shit. And I thought I was gonna like die that night, and that's kind of like what has inspired me to like keep creating change and making a difference. The next time things went bad was I was sexually assaulted back in April of last year, like on my birthday. When I first like realized I was trans, I then thought, oh, I'll never be beautiful. Like I'll never be a real girl, quote unquote. So in December of my freshman year, I was on Facebook scrolling through and saw the story of Leela Alcorn, who is a trans woman, and written a Tumblr post to be released if she had died by suicide, and she did. She walked out and was hit by a truck on the freeway, and I attempted the same thing my freshman year. I had written a note, and I attempted to overdose on a bunch of different prescription drugs, and I was doing it to like call more attention to the issues and to like make a difference. For being trans on a college campus, especially at UO, is there is this heightened level of resources that you're provided, and like that, my access to scholarships has expanded extremely. And I don't think I'd be involved in all the leadership opportunities I am right now, and all of that, if I was not trans. I think that's what's propelled me to stand up and like start fighting for people. I think the most memorable part of being trans was like one of the first functions I went to with my sorority. We were all super drunk, and we went to the bathroom, And just like all of us together in the bathroom for some reason, like that memory stands out to me. I was like, oh, we're all peeing together. Like I'm no different from them. We're all just like sitting in the bathroom peeing. And like I don't know, like that when I think about that memory, it makes me cry. I went Greek for multiple reasons. One reason was like really to prove to myself that I am who I say I am, you know? Like for me, it was just verifying all the feelings I had. And for me, you know, going Greek and being accepted into a house, it meant more than any surgery, any name change, any amount of hormones ever would. And it provides a space where you can learn some of the things that you missed out in before life, you know? Because like I never learned in middle school, like I never went to those weird makeup phases, those weird clothing phases. So I could like make up for that time lost, and I'm really grateful for that. But when I initially rushed, I did it in the fall of last year, and since the fall, I went through 5 different rush processes, and it was extremely lengthy, and I had a terrible time. At the time, it meant 200 women accepting you as that thing you're claiming you are. So I saw it really appealing, and then I was cut from every house but one on the first day of cuts. I decided to give it one last chance because my friend was going through my current sorority's rush process, so I thought I'd go through it to support her. I didn't go to their first event because I was like, I really don't want to do this. But the next morning, I got at this within 10 minutes of each other. I had a friend send me a link to a Cosmo article that was blowing up. That was about can trans girls be sorority girls, and it was a very eye-opening article, and how so many trans people have tried and so many trans people have failed getting into sorority houses. So I was like, I have the opportunity to try again, I might as well. And then 10 minutes later, I get an email from my current sorority, and they're like, hey, you missed yesterday, but we still would love to see you. So I went, I talked to maybe 2 girls, and then I got a bid. Initially, I was extremely afraid a week after getting extended my bid of invitation, because I thought girls were going to find out and I was going to get kicked out. And so I was kind of waiting for that call to come, and it never came. But I later found out that many girls were extremely unhappy that I got into the same house as them. It seemed like right when I went to my first chapter meeting, it was like all eyes were on me because I was the trans one. And it still feels that way. Like when I walk in the house, I'm like, oh, yep, here comes the trans girl again. As a result, I began doing more Greek activist things after I got initiated. So I created that LGBT Panhellenic support group last term, and that's been an amazing place for LGBT women to come out and talk to me. After I got initiated, I went to a conference, and there at that conference, we were going around saying what chapters we were in, and this guy says, I'm in XYZ chapter, and that's the same chapter I'm in. I'm like, well, you're a dude, but you're in my sorority. I thought that was really cool. I mean, both looked at each other at that second and cried, and made a really big deal about it, and ran across the room and hugged each other. That's when I knew I had to stick it out, and I had to keep going to create a difference. As long as I can make someone else's life better than mine is, that's totally worth it for me.